Our credits are gone, human, but take this starship instead. The cosmic bargain. Captain Ria Nakamura had seen plenty of strange cargo in her 15 years hauling freight across the frontier sectors. From experimental biotech to contraband alien artifacts, nothing much surprised her anymore. But as she descended the worn metal stairs into the maintenance tunnels beneath Helio Station, she couldn't shake the feeling that this job was different. "This better be worth the detour," she muttered, adjusting the holster of her particle pistol. The message had been cryptic: unusual passengers seek discreet transport, generous compensation, but her contact was reliable, and the Helio sector was getting too hot for comfort since the Galactic Confederation had increased patrols. Her ship, the distant horizon, needed repairs that wouldn't pay for themselves. Simple economics had brought her to this dimly lit tunnel with its ancient architecture stretching overhead like the fossilized ribs of some extinct cosmic beast. The tunnel opened into a small chamber carved with symbols from a long-forgotten civilization. Ria's tactical light swept across the dust-covered floor, revealing nothing but shadows and silence. "Looking for someone, Captain?" Ria spun around, weapon half-drawn. Two figures stood in the archway she just passed through. They moved with such silence that her enhanced auditory implants hadn't detected their approach. They were tall, taller than any humans she'd encountered, with luminescent skin that seemed to pulse with an inner light. Their features were vaguely humanoid but too perfect, as if sculpted by an artist rather than shaped by evolution. Both had hair like spun silver that seemed to float around their heads as if underwater. "Depends who's asking," Ria replied, not holstering her weapon but not raising it either. The taller of the pair stepped forward. "I am Zephyr," he said, his voice carrying an otherworldly resonance. "This is my sister, Lyric. We require passage off this station." "The passenger terminal is 2 levels up," Ria said, gesturing with her free hand. "Plenty of transports heading to the core systems." Lyric moved closer, her movements fluid and graceful. "Our situation requires discretion. We cannot use conventional transport." "Discretion costs extra," Ria observed, studying them more carefully. Their attire was minimal, form-fitting garments that seemed woven from light itself, leaving little to the imagination while somehow maintaining dignity. "We are aware," Zephyr replied. "We were told you might be accommodating." Ria holstered her weapon but maintained her distance. "Where are you looking to go?" "The Obsidian Reach," Lyric said. Ria couldn't hide her surprise. "That's 3 jumps through unpatrolled space. Pirates, rogue mercenaries, and worse. Not exactly a pleasure cruise." "We understand the risks," Zephyr assured her. "And we will compensate you accordingly." "Let's talk numbers then," Ria said, crossing her arms. "A run like that, with passengers the authorities might be interested in, I'm assuming that's why we're meeting in abandoned tunnels, that'll cost you 20,000 credits. Each." The siblings exchanged a glance, a silent communication passing between them. "We don't have credits for the transport, Captain," Lyric said, her iridescent eyes meeting Ria's. "But we will compensate you with something far more valuable." Ria laughed, the sound echoing off the ancient walls. "I've heard better offers in seedier establishments. Credits are the universal language, especially in the frontier sectors." "Yet you haven't walked away," Zephyr observed with an unsettling smile. He was right. Despite everything, Ria remained rooted to the spot, curiosity getting the better of her professional judgment. "What kind of compensation are we talking about?" she asked finally. Lyric approached, moving within arm's reach. "Knowledge," she said. "Technology beyond anything your species currently possesses." "And protection," Zephyr added. "We have abilities that would prove useful to someone in your profession." To demonstrate, Lyric extended her hand toward a fallen piece of debris. The object rose smoothly into the air, hovering before disintegrating into particles of light that danced around her fingers before reforming. "Impressive parlor trick," Ria said, though her pulse had quickened. "But I need something tangible." Zephyr reached into a small pouch at his waist and withdrew an object that caught Rhea's tactical light, fracturing it into 1,000 rainbow hues. It was a crystal, no larger than her thumb, but within its facets swirled what appeared to be a miniature galaxy. A sample, he explained, from the resonance nexus. One small fragment contains enough energy to power your ship for a decade. Rhea's eyes widened. The resonance nexus was a theoretical region of space where the barriers between dimensions were thought to be thinnest. No confirmed explorations had ever returned. That's impossible, she breathed. Nothing comes out of the nexus. We did, Lyric replied simply. Rhea stared at the siblings with new understanding. The strange glow of their skin, their unusual movements, the way they seemed somehow more than physical beings, it all made a disturbing kind of sense. What are you? She asked. We are Lumina, Zephyr explained. In your terms, we are energy beings who have adopted physical form to experience your dimension. Our home exists parallel to yours, intersecting at places like the Nexus. A distant alarm echoed through the tunnels, and both siblings tensed visibly. We need to move, Lyric urged. They found us. Who's found you? Rhea demanded. Those who would study us, dissect us, use our abilities for their own purposes, Zephyr replied. Both from your realm and ours. Another alarm sounded, closer this time. Captain Nakamura, Lyric said, her voice intense, we need your answer now. Will you transport us to the Obsidian Reach? Rhea's mind raced. This was madness, pure, unadulterated insanity. But if they were telling the truth, the crystal alone was worth more than 100 routine cargo runs. My ship leaves in 1 hour, she decided. Docking Bay Epsilon, 7. If you're not there, I go without you. If you bring trouble, I space you without a second thought. Clear. The siblings nodded in perfect synchronization. Crystal, they replied in unison. As they made their way back through the tunnels, Rhea couldn't shake the feeling that she'd just made either the best decision of her career or her last. The Lumina moved silently behind her, their faint glow providing more light than her tactical beam. So, she said, breaking the uncomfortable silence, you want to tell me what you're really running from? Who says we're running? Zephyr asked, amusement in his voice. Experience, Rhea replied dryly. Nobody meets in abandoned tunnels and needs urgent transport unless they're in trouble. Perhaps we simply find human vessels fascinating, Lyric suggested. Right, Rhea snorted. And I'm Emperor of the 7 systems. Before either could respond, Rhea's comm unit buzzed. The message flashing across her retinal implant made her heart sink, station-wide security alert. All vessels grounded pending inspection. Problem, she announced, coming to a halt. Station security's running a sweep. Full documentation checks at all docking bays. Our documentation would raise more questions than it would answer, Zephyr admitted. Rhea sighed heavily. Thought so. She studied a junction where 3 passages diverged. Change of plans. We'll use the maintenance access routes. They'll get us to the cargo loading area. Fewer questions there. As they navigated the increasingly narrow passages, Rhea became acutely aware of the siblings' strange energy. It wasn't just their appearance, there was something about them that seemed to hum at a frequency just beyond normal human perception. Your kind build such confining spaces, Lyric observed as they squeezed through a particularly tight corridor. These tunnels weren't built by humans, Rhea pointed out. They're remnants from whatever civilization existed here before we arrived. We just repurposed them. Typical humans, Zephyr commented, but his tone held something like admiration. Always adapting, always surviving. Through a grating in the floor, they could see security officers checking identification at a checkpoint. Rhea frowned. We need a distraction. Allow me, Zephyr said. Before Rhea could protest, he knelt and extended his hand toward the checkpoint. His fingers emitted a subtle glow, and suddenly a cargo loader near the security station sparked dramatically, drawing everyone's attention. "What did you just do?" Rhea hissed. "A minor electromagnetic disruption," he explained calmly. "Harmless but effective." With the checkpoint in chaos, they slipped past and made their way toward docking bay Epsilon 7. The distant horizon waited, an ungainly but reliable vessel that had been Rhea's home for the past decade. "That's my ship," Rhea whispered as they crouched behind cargo containers. "It's about 100 meters across open tarmac. When I give the signal, run fast and low." As security drones patrolled overhead, Rhea counted down with her fingers. 3, 2, 1. They sprinted across the exposed area, the siblings moving with inhuman grace while Rhea's combat-enhanced reflexes kept her just ahead of the searching spotlights. They reached the ship's boarding ramp just as an alarm began to sound. "They've spotted us," Lyric warned as Rhea pressed her palm to the access panel. The ramp lowered with excruciating slowness. "Inside, now," Rhea ordered as security officers appeared, weapons drawn. They barely made it inside before laser fire peppered the hull. Rhea slammed the emergency close button and directed the siblings toward the cockpit. "Strap in," she commanded, throwing herself into the pilot's seat and initiating launch procedures. The ship's engines rumbled to life as more security personnel surrounded the vessel. "They've locked down the bay doors," Zephyr observed, looking at the massive barrier blocking their exit. Rhea grinned, flipping a series of switches overhead. "Good thing I installed a few modifications." The ship's ventral cannons, definitely not on the official registry, powered up with a satisfying hum. "Hold on to something," she advised. "This is going to be loud." The distant horizon blasted through the bay floor, dropping into open space before its thrusters engaged, propelling them away from Helio Station in a shower of debris and alarms. "Effective," Lyric commented, her eyes gleaming with excitement. "Welcome to human transportation," Rhea replied, plotting a course for the first jump point. "We're not clear yet. Brace for pursuit." Right on cue, the tactical display lit up with a new contact, a Confederation patrol vessel, heavily armed and closing fast. As warning messages flooded the comm system, Rhea killed the external communications with a flick of her wrist. "This is where things get interesting," she muttered, banking the ship hard toward a nearby asteroid field. Behind her, the luminous siblings watched with growing fascination, their eyes reflecting the stars streaking past, and something else, something that spoke of plans much larger than a simple transport run to the Obsidian Reach. Transcendence flight. The distant horizon shuddered as another energy blast from the pursuing Confederation vessel grazed their shields. Inside the cockpit, warning indicators flashed across the control panels, bathing Captain Rhea Nakamura's face in pulsating red light. "Shields at 38%, she announced, her fingers dancing across the navigation controls as she weaved through the dense asteroid field. "They're not making this easy." Zephyr and Lyric exchanged one of their silent communications before the male Lumina spoke. "They're not Confederation." Rhea shot him a skeptical glance. "That's definitely a Confederation Valkyrie-class patrol ship on our tail." "The vessel is authentic," Lyric clarified, her luminous eyes fixed on the tactical display. "Its crew is not." Before Rhea could demand an explanation, the ship violently lurched as a tractor beam locked onto them, powerful enough to penetrate the asteroid field's interference. "Impossible," Rhea muttered, punching override commands into the console. "No Confederation ship has tractor technology that advanced." "They are collectors," Zephyr explained, his voice taking on a resonant quality that seemed to vibrate through the ship itself. "Beings who hunt rare specimens across dimensions. The ship is merely their disguise." "Specimens?" Rhea echoed, finally connecting the dots. "They're hunting you." "Yes," Lyric confirmed. "And now, by association, you as well." The tractor beam's grip tightened, the distant horizon's engines screaming in protest as they fought against the inexorable pull. Rhea's mind raced, calculating options and finding them severely limited. I need to know exactly what I'm dealing with, she demanded, turning to face the siblings. No more cryptic half-truths. What can these collectors do, and how do we stop them? The luminous siblings exchanged another look before Zephyr nodded solemnly. The collectors exist to preserve and study what they consider unique phenomena, he explained. They believe themselves to be archivists of the cosmos, but their methods are invasive. They've never encountered humans with direct exposure to lumina energy, Lyric added. You would be as valuable to their collection as we are. Rhea processed this information as the ship continued its struggle against the tractor beam. So we're all equally screwed. Fantastic. Any suggestions? Zephyr rose from his seat, his form seeming to shimmer with increased luminosity. We can help. Our energy can temporarily augment your ship's systems. Do it, Rhea authorized without hesitation. At this point, she had nothing to lose. The siblings moved in perfect synchronization, placing their hands on the main control console. Immediately, a wave of iridescent energy flowed from their fingertips, spreading through the ship's systems like liquid light. Rhea felt the difference immediately, the controls becoming more responsive, sensors sharpening, power levels surging beyond their designed capacities. What are you doing? She asked, amazed at the readings flooding her displays. Sharing, Lyric explained, her voice taking on that same resonant quality as her brother's. Your technology is primitive but adaptable. With their assistance, Rhea executed a maneuver that should have been impossible for a vessel of the Distant Horizons class. The ship rotated on its axis while maintaining forward momentum, bringing its upgraded weapons to bear on the tractor beam's emitter. Now! Zephyr urged. Rhea fired. The ship's modest defense cannons, now supercharged with lumina energy, released a burst of brilliantly colored plasma that struck the pursuing vessel with pinpoint accuracy. The tractor beam flickered and died. We have an opening, Rhea announced, punching the engines to maximum. The Distant Horizon surged forward, leaving the temporarily disabled collector ship behind. That won't hold them for long, Lyric cautioned. They will adapt. Then we need somewhere to hide, Rhea said, studying her navigation charts. There's a nebula at the edge of the Taurus sector. The radiation should mask our signature. As she set course for the nebula, Rhea noticed that the siblings had maintained their connection to the ship's systems. Strange patterns of light continued to pulse through the control panels, and the engines hummed with a harmonic resonance she'd never heard before. Your ship is accepting our energy remarkably well, Zephyr observed. Almost as if it was designed for compatibility. Rhea gave him a puzzled look. That's impossible. Human technology has never encountered your kind before. Perhaps not knowingly, Lyric suggested cryptically. Before Rhea could press for clarification, the tactical display pinged with a new alert. The collector vessel had not only recovered but had been joined by 2 additional ships. They're deploying some kind of interdimensional trackers, Zephyr warned, his expression grave. They can follow us anywhere in normal space now. Then we don't stay in normal space, Rhea decided, setting a new course. We make for the Obsidian Reach early. The siblings exchanged alarmed glances. The Reach is still 12 hours away at your ship's maximum velocity, Lyric pointed out. They will intercept us long before we arrive. Rhea's lips curled into a determined smile. Not if we take a shortcut. She entered a complex series of coordinates into the navigation system. There's a theoretical passage through the schism void. Uncharted, unstable, but it could cut our journey to less than an hour. The schism void? Zephyr's voice actually cracked. No human vessel has ever successfully navigated it. The dimensional instabilities would tear your ship apart. They might, Rhea agreed, unless I had 2 energy beings who could somehow stabilize those dimensional instabilities. That was part of our deal, wasn't it? Your protection in exchange for transport. The luminous sibling stared at her with newfound respect. It would require a deeper connection than we've established, Lyric said carefully. A merging of energies that would affect you as well, Captain. Affect me how? The exposure to concentrated lumina energy would alter your biology, Zephyr explained. Permanently. Rhea glanced at the tactical display, where the pursuing vessels were closing the gap with alarming speed. And the alternative is becoming a specimen in some cosmic zoo. I'll take the alterations. She locked eyes with them. Do it. The siblings moved to either side of her pilot's chair, their hands coming to rest on her shoulders. Instantly, Rhea felt a warmth spreading through her body, a tingling sensation that started at the points of contact and radiated outward until her entire being seemed to hum with energy. Remarkable compatibility, Lyric murmured, genuine surprise in her voice. Rhea gasped as her perception suddenly expanded. She could feel the ship around her not as metal and circuits but as an extension of her own body. More incredibly, she could sense the luminous siblings on a level beyond physical, their thoughts, emotions, and memories flowing into her consciousness. What's happening to me? She whispered, watching as her hands began to emit the same subtle glow as theirs. The true nature of our payment, Zephyr answered, his mental voice now as clear in Rhea's mind as if he'd spoken aloud. Transcendence. Through their shared consciousness, Rhea suddenly understood. The Lumina weren't refugees, they were emissaries, sent to find humans who could serve as bridges between dimensions. The payment they offered wasn't technology or protection, it was evolution. With her enhanced perception, Rhea guided the distant horizon toward the schism void, a tear in reality that appeared on her sensors as a swirling maelstrom of contradictory readings. As they approached, the pursuing vessels fired desperately, trying to prevent their escape. They know what we're attempting, Lyric communicated mentally. If we succeed, their collection will lose its most valuable potential specimens. Rhea no longer needed physical controls to pilot the ship. Her thoughts translated directly into commands, the vessel responding as if it were part of her. She could feel the dimensional barrier approaching, a membrane between realities that should have been impenetrable to ordinary matter. Now, she commanded, focusing the combined energy of the three of them through the ship's systems. The distant horizon phased into the schism void, its hull briefly becoming translucent as it passed between dimensions. Inside, Rhea experienced a moment of perfect clarity, seeing not just her own universe but countless others layered like pages in a cosmic book. The journey through the void took both an instant and an eternity. When they emerged, the distant horizon materialized directly in orbit around an obsidian planet that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, the heart of the obsidian reach. We made it, Rhea breathed, looking down at her hands, which still glowed with inner light. And I'm different. You are becoming, Zephyr confirmed. Neither fully human nor Lumina, but something new. A bridge. The tactical display remained clear of pursuit. The collectors. They cannot follow where we've gone, Lyric explained. The path we forged was unique to our combined energies. Rhea leaned back in her chair, absorbing the implications of everything that had happened. So this was your plan all along? Find a human compatible with your energy and transform them? Not exactly, Zephyr admitted. We sought passage, as we said. The transformation was always a possibility, but we couldn't know if you would be receptive until we interacted. Your ship helped, Lyric added. It contains elements from the resonance nexus, subtle traces in its core systems. Did you never wonder why the distant horizon felt so perfectly attuned to you? Rhea considered this revelation. The ship had always seemed special, responding to her in ways that defied technical specifications. She'd attributed it to familiarity and extensive customization, but now a deeper truth emerged. Who built my ship? She asked quietly. The same ones who wrote the prophecy, Zephyr replied. Those who foresaw that humanity and Lumina would one day need to unite against something greater than either could face alone. Through their connection, Rhea caught glimpses of this threat, a consuming darkness moving between dimensions, devouring energy and matter alike. And I'm supposed to help stop this thing? Not alone, Lyric assured her. You are merely the first bridge. There will be others. Rhea stood, moving to the viewport to gaze down at the obsidian planet below. Her reflection showed subtle changes, her eyes now holding that same shifting iridescence as the siblings, her skin with the faintest luminous quality. "So much for a simple transport job," she murmured, a smile playing at her lips despite everything. "We can still arrange conventional payment if you prefer," Zephyr offered, though his mental tone conveyed amusement. Rhea turned to face them, the glow around her intensifying with her emotions. "I think we're well past conventional arrangements, don't you? Besides," she added, feeling the ship respond to her thoughts, systems upgrading themselves as her transformation continued, "I'd say the distant horizon just got one hell of an upgrade package." The siblings approached, their forms seeming to blur at the edges as they allowed their physical constraints to relax in the safety of orbit. "What happens now?" Rhea asked. "Now," Lyric said, "we prepare. Others will come, those like you, compatible with the transition. Together, we will build a fleet unlike any this universe has seen. A bridge between worlds," Zephyr added, "strong enough to withstand the coming darkness." Rhea looked down at her transformed hands, then back to the stars visible through the viewport. The universe suddenly seemed both larger and smaller, filled with new dangers but also new possibilities. "Well," she said finally, "I always did want to see what lay beyond the frontier." As the distant horizon descended toward the obsidian planet, Rhea felt something she hadn't experienced in years, a sense of purpose beyond survival, beyond profit. The payment the Lumina had offered was beyond value, not just transformation, but belonging to something greater than herself. Whatever came next, they would face it together, human ingenuity and Lumina energy combined into something entirely new. The first bridge in what would soon become a constellation spanning the gap between worlds.